Hello and welcome to Bloomberg Quint. We're inside the Congress Centre because the last time I was accused of almost freezing Sajjan Jindal to death outside. So this time we thought we'd keep it warm and cozy. Mr. Jindal, thank you very much for speaking with us. It's an interesting year, 2017. Globally, there seems to be a bit of political uncertainty, but people seem to be coming to terms with President Trump, Brexit, and all of those issues. We had a very bullish speech come in from the Chinese President, Xi Jinping, who batted very hard for globalization. What do you make is the outlook for both the global economy and India for this year?
I think what President Xi Jinping mentioned was that there is a slowdown globally and there is, the economies are not doing well. China is still playing a very major role. For the last 10 years, Chinese have contributed nearly 30% to the global growth. And so I think the world is still looking fragile. Still, there is not so much strength in the global world. But when we talk about India last 2 years have been a bit slow. But as I was mentioning you before, that India is now coming back into investment side. And as I was saying, that first the Indians have to invest into building industries in India, then only the foreigners would come. So therefore, I'm seeing the green shoots now, where the Indians are starting to look at investments.
Okay, because the numbers still don't back that up. If you look at private investment numbers, they've in fact only been declining month on month for the last several months. So what gives you the impression that there are green shoots?
Well, that's my belief. I mean, that's what is happening in my companies. Right. We are investing now in our companies because we had large capacities which we had created over the last 4 or 5 years. Those capacities are now more or less being absorbed in the Indian system.
Okay.
And whether it is steel or cement or infrastructure or energy, more or less everywhere we have absorbed that capacity, and now we are starting to look at new investments in every part of our projects. So if we are investing in our new businesses, these businesses, then I'm sure everybody else also must be looking at that. So my positive outlook is from that perspective.
You've had an incredibly acquisitive 2 years, right? You've acquired in cement, you've acquired in power. So what is that going to be the strategy going ahead, or right now and for the next 2 or 5 years, you're mostly going to focus on consolidating what you've acquired and organic growth?
So, I've been always very positive on India. I always thought that India is the best place to invest in the world, especially for Indians. So, and the last 2 years gave us great opportunities to acquire assets because there were a lot of distress in the country, and we have had good balance sheets in all our businesses. So that was a great opportunity, and it was an opportunistic acquisition. And I also felt that this was a great time to consolidate the industry, whether it is steel or cement. Cement, of course, the acquisition is very small.
Yes.
But in the power sector, we did this large acquisition, which was a great asset. And steel we acquired. We are still looking to acquire some more assets because we believe that steel is under a lot of stress. And JSW Steel is one of the better steel companies in India. Has got a good balance sheet, good management, so we can definitely acquire some good assets.
What's on your shopping list?
No, it's nothing like that. But we are still looking. We are looking at various assets, and we believe that we can do justice to these stress assets.
What kind of assets, if I may ask?
I mean, steel companies, steel assets.
Thank you. I assume there would be steel companies given that it's JSW Steel doing the buying, but no, what I meant was, are you looking for not geographical presence, are you looking for something that has, upstream connectivity, or are you looking for something that adds a special aspect to your business?
Not really.
Or are you looking for some distressed assets that are...
distressed assets which will add to our capacities.
I was going to use that as the first option. I thought let me give you some choices.
Yeah. No,
okay.
No. You can be upfront with me because I'm always straightforward.
That's large scale?
Not so large scale, but middle
What's
scale.
on the block right now?
Everything. Every steel asset is on the block, yeah.
Every steel asset?
More or less. I mean, when I say everything, I would say in India, more or less everything.
Tata Steel.
Yeah, of course. Tata Steel Authority. Yeah.
You never know how the world changes.
Yeah. No. Tata Steel, of course, is the best steel company.
Are you in talks with SR at all?
No. SR is doing well, and I wish
actually,
them.
SR was in some
No,
debt
at one
issues,
time,
so
at one time, they are still going
CDR,
through.
S4A, we're not very clear where they are.
Yes.
This is not about SR, but what is it that you're looking for?
No, I can't be. I can't tell you.
Are these large capacities?
Not so large.
Not so large.
Not so large.
And you're expecting these deals to close in the next 6
Over the next
to
6
10
months, yeah, 6 to 8 months, yeah.
6 to 8 months. Okay. The steel sector outlook has improved dramatically, hasn't it? I think the last year and a half, two, you all spent battling cheap Chinese imports, and I think all the measures that the government has taken has helped prices recover considerably.
Absolutely. This government is absolutely pro-business. They look at business from a perspective of building the nation. And I think what they did by bringing MIP was to give a message to the world that please don't dump into India, because India is of course a very attractive market, especially for Chinese steel mills. So therefore they were dumping big time into India and killing the Indian industry. So not only the steel industry would die, but also the banks would suffer a lot, because banks have lent a lot of money to the Indian steel sector. So I think government looked at both the aspect, the steel industry, its growth, its future, because steel is a strategic industry. So, and also the banks, the money that goes into, from the banks, and it's a public money. So looking at both the things, they decided to.
Is that behind us now, or do you expect more protectionist measures in some sort?
No, so what's happened is that after India took these decisions, the whole world has sort of, in fact today President Xi Jinping also mentioned that we have surplus capacities and we are trying to address those issues. So it's very clear that Chinese have created huge overcapacity, and if the countries do not protect their own industries, whether India, whether the United States, Europe, every other bloc of the nations have sort of protected now against the Chinese dumping. And I think India didn't do anything out of the ordinary.
No, what I meant is, are there more measures that you would like implemented, or
No,
do you think we're over the worst?
I think we are over the worst. They've already put in anti-dumping duties on the products which were being dumped into India. So I think we are more or less behind, the worst is behind us.
What's your outlook then? Because we've seen a comeback in commodity prices in the last 10 to 12 months. What is the outlook for 2017, 2018?
I see FY 17-18 to be a good year for steel industry in India, not only in India but globally. If you look at global steel companies are performing very well. So because of on the back of these protections and safeguard from the Chinese dumping. So I believe that Indian steel industries will also do very well, especially the companies which have got good balance sheets.
Recovery in prices?
So prices have moved up because of the raw material commodities have gone up. Coking coal prices, iron ore prices are still moving up. So it has prices of steel have moved up. But I would say that in India the prices are more or less reached the peak as we speak. Maybe there could be some more upward movement left, but not much steam is left now. So we have reached more or less the level. And if the iron ore prices starts to correct globally, then we may see some correction in India also.